Hey everyone, so I just wanted to dive a little bit into some of the contraindications to breath holding. Now, obviously, breath holding, as you will have, we've discussed already in this, but also as you go through, you're going to start to understand that it is essentially a stressor, and that stressors can obviously contribute to changes in physiology via the stress response, and that can increase things like heart rate, respiratory rate when we release the breath hold, as well as blood pressure, and we get what we'd call peripheral resistance. Now we're going to get a lot of potentially down the line, we're going to get vascular systems that are going to constrict. So also, if we're doing it for a long period of time, people may even push themselves, especially with exercise, to a point where they go hypoxic and oxygen levels drop. So this is going to be um, detrimental to some groups of individuals. This course is going to help you identify when to use breath holding and how it can be a benefit. And we'll talk about more of that in the coaching structures when we can work with healthy people if we're trying to manage stress, anxiety, and help people overcome things like panic. However, if someone is suffering with panic disorder and they are completely dysregulated and they are not being treated, or they are struggling to have that managed, and obviously doing breath hold exercises with those individuals is not going to be safe. In fact, it would be a contraindication to do. So people who are struggling with panic disorder, especially in the immediate, then they will need a lot of work doing first more simple things, more down regulation practices, more safety practices, more nervous system regulation, and need to unlearn the conditioning before they can go into stronger breath holds. So that's one contraindication that we need to be mindful of. The other ones are pregnancy. Typically with pregnancy, we don't want people to do strong breath holds, and we don't want people, females who are pregnant, to be doing hyperventilation style breath works. It just alters dynamics in blood that can lead to potentially hypoxia of the fetus, and the relationship between that delivery of the mother and the baby, the mother and the fetus, then it's just pointless. There's probably been no research on it. There are changes in physiology. There's so much going on during pregnancy that it would just be detrimental to do anything that is seriously challenging. So that's another contraindication. And then the final two that I want to discuss here is people who have uncontrollable high blood pressure. So any additional stressor to someone who's got uncontrollable high blood pressure, and that's not up for me to determine, or the individual for you to determine. That is just the nature of the beast. If in your health contraindications, your health onboarding process, that if someone identifies that they have high blood pressure, then you really want to be like getting a record of it. Is that controlled? If you can take blood pressure yourself, that's great. If you can't, can they go to their GP and give you a record of that blood pressure and have them to have a conversation about what it is? And if it's uncontrolled, then we just won't do breath holds with those individuals. The final one is the reason because of that is because that was going to put more cardiovascular stress on people. So therefore, the final contraindication is people who have cardiovascular issues. So any history of heart attack, history of angina, stroke, those sort of things are all going to be contraindications to do stronger form breath holds as well. So those are some of the contraindications of health. Other contraindications, if we are doing strong breath holds following hyperventilation or anywhere near water without supervision, then that's a no-go. That's definitely what we shouldn't be doing. That is dangerous, and I just wanted to point that out to give you some insight to keep this a safe practice.